Today is Saturday, November 8, 2025, and today we are missing out on the perfect opportunity to put up the icicle lights. It is 64 degrees and sunny, which is pretty rare this time of year. I just don't have them ready yet, so I can't do it today. I typically will look for a day between November 5 and November 20th. Give myself about 2 weeks. And they have to go up within that 2-week window, because if you wait too long, then it might snow and then you can't get them up. But you want to put them up too soon, because then they're just, banging around in the wind, sitting in the sun, breaking down. So it's a balancing act with these things. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. I've done it in 70 degrees, I've done it in 20 degrees. It's just the way it is. We might have another warm day in the next week or so that I can do it, but today would have been the day, and unfortunately they're not ready. So today, to kind of make some use of this nice day, I'm going to clean up the garage. I had the garage all cleaned up, but then a customer called me and says, I've got some air conditioners I want to get rid of, and it was these over here, these nice early 70s units, very uncommon variant under a store brand, and it's a pair, just actually 2 pairs there. So that was 100% worth going and taking up the space for. That was a really good find. And then there were some other fans that came in from a different source, and then I got a bunch of fans from over here. These are not my fans, these are other collectors' fans to repair. So I just got a lot of other stuff in here that I wasn't expecting to have. And then over there on the digital yard cart, there are some tools, because my neighbor called me and says I have some tools I want to get rid of, and I love free tools. So I got those, and we actually might use some of that stuff in building the village tables, which we got to do in the next couple of weeks as well. So there's just a lot of stuff in here that I wasn't expecting to be in here. I had this whole thing cleaned up. I could see the floor, I could see the table, and now I can't see either one again. So we're going to have to clean this up again. See how many leaves. Not too bad. I'm going to take a rake and sweep away those leaves so they don't come in here. Alright, we can clean up those leaves out of the yard later. That's not a big deal. Did a major leaf cleanup yesterday. I've done 2 major leaf cleanups so far this year, and I think that might be all we have to do. The leaves came down quick this year because it's so dry. I'll have to go with the mower and clean up the leaves a couple more times, but it's not going to be anything time consuming. I'm going to change oil in this leaf blower. I ran it until it went out of gas. There's still a touch of gas left in there, but I think it just doesn't drain it very well. I think I'm going to charge up some batteries today. Wow, it's nice enough to charge them outside. And this way, if there's a lithium battery fire, at least it takes place outside. Not that I want a lithium battery fire outside, and I want one anywhere, but I'd rather have one outside than inside. Okay, good. That's working. Now this is a Sears. I think this is a belt sander. It's an old Craftsman one. These are very good quality tools. Needs to be cleaned up, but we've got that. Which I was not going to turn down for free. The case is all messed up, but it'll still serve its purpose. So I want to put that underneath the bench. And then we also have a vintage hose reel that we're going to keep inside. This is I think this is a polisher. Another Sears product. There's a lot of sawdust in here for some reason, but if we clean these up, these are all still good. They're not rotted. And here's the tool itself. It is a 6-inch disc sander polisher, 1650 or 1400 RPM, double insulated, 2-speed, 4 amps, made in USA. This is all metal. This is another very good quality, probably all metal gears and everything in there. Very good quality tool. So these are definitely worth getting, and they'll come in handy at some point, but not the best timing. Looks like the cord needs to be repaired, but that's fine, we can fix that. The tool itself is worth a lot more than a cord is. Okay. Cool old Sears logo on there. Sears Tools logo. Alright, so that's the second tool, and then the third tool is a table saw. This has a lot of parts to it. These are the screws for it, but the container broke. So let me see if I have another one that we can put them in instead, because this is not very helpful as it stands. Ah, I do. I have another one. So we'll move all this from... How does this even work? I don't know. I don't take medication, so I don't ever use these. I don't ever use these types of models. Push and turn. Push what? I'm pushing it, but it ain't turning. There we go. Oh, here we go again. Hold tab down and turn. That's a lot easier. Okay, I'll keep that with the saw. It's almost warm enough that we could use fans today. Almost. This is very heavy. I want to see if I can clear a path to be able to just move the whole digital card over instead of trying to carry this across the room. I could carry it, but if it's already on wheels, it doesn't make any sense to try to carry it. In fact, that would be kind of stupid. Wow, it feels so warm out there. It's incredible. Feels like spring, not late fall. Those piece of junk dehumidifiers are kind of in the way. Okay, I should have just carried it across the room. This was more trouble than it was worth. Now that stinking fan is in the way. There are so many fans in here. Okay, so I want to get all this stuff underneath the bench here. I don't know what some of this stuff is under here. Some of it can probably be moved somewhere else without too much difficulty. This is a spare set of Klipsch Pro Media 2.1 speakers. These are very good speakers. I was going to put these in the kitchen, but I don't need them in the kitchen anymore, so I should put them somewhere else. I don't know where. But I'll store these inside. I'm not going to store these in the garage. Those can go somewhere else. That we can cancel out, it's empty. This is the extra filter for the ash vacuum. I use this filter when I clean the boiler because that's soot, it's different. I've got some hose clamps. We've got some fluorescent equipment, ballast and starters, etc. This is Windows screen repair. This is a dishwasher handle. I kept this because I want to use this as a handle for a box fan I'm going to build. Very high power box fan. That's a wire tie that has a place. That's a control unit. These are some air conditioner parts. Well, that's a wire tie. We can use that for something else. This we can cancel out. These are just rusty old screws. Probably should just cancel all those out as well. I don't know what that's for, but that's a potentially good piece of hardware. It's a little eye hook thing. I don't know how you attach it to something, but this is PVC stuff. PVC glue, some spare pipes. I should really get another plastic box for that in case it leaks. Okay, this is, yeah, some more hose clamps, some cables, switch plates, yarn, some electrical stuff. This, I want to keep this under here because this is not something I access too often, so it's fine under there. That's heavy. I don't think we can even pick up that box without it breaking. Here's another toolbox. Full of vintage tools. More tools around here than a hardware store. There's a couple power bars under there. If we get the power bars out of there, then I think we'll be set with the space under here. We've got some jack stands. A light. I want to put this up in here actually. This is a high pressure sodium. Very interesting fixture. It's a high pressure sodium with a E26 base. Very interesting piece of equipment. No idea what the use case was for that. I got another jack stand. Those will stay under here. More jack the stands. And a bat cone. And that's everything that was under here. So it's pretty clean. There's a couple bits of mouse droppings. That issue has been resolved. There are no more mice in here. But let's clean that up while we have it all open. Oh, what the heck? Is this full or what? No. Why is all that falling out of there? take the microphone off. I'll do some live editing here to reduce the sound of the vacuum. That vacuum needs new bearings. All things considered, it stays pretty clean under here. Alright, we have is this a Rotorex? It is a Fetters, made in USA, rotary compressor. I'm not sure if this is a Rotorex or not. It's perfectly good, and there was no reason to throw it out. That's why I kept it. Somebody else is going to throw it out, but it still works, so why would you throw it out? Yeah. That's a different story. Okay, let's see if we can get this saw under here. I think it'll fit, but I did the measuring, so it's probably wrong. And there's a lot of pieces that go with this. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have carried this across the room. This is very heavy. So this is the saw. It's in pretty good shape. Bearings seem to be in good condition still. The blade the blade looks pretty good too. Needs to be cleaned up, but for free, there's no complaints. It's a good quality old school piece. Everything seems to be working pretty good. Everything turns freely. This is your height adjustment here. Could use some oiling, but that's it. Okay, that's as low as it goes. So we got this bar here. Is it? Can we detach that? Not easily, so we have to deal with that being in the way, and then this being in. Oh, I could probably take these off. For the frequency at which this will be used, I think it's worth disassembling it as much as possible. So I think we'll take off these two handles. That's just a common screw, and make it a little more compact. Oh, this driver's busted. That's why it's not working very well. Yeah, that'll save us a couple inches on each side. That's valuable. What's not valuable is that screwdriver. This is another Craftsman. It's a 10-inch. This is a Craftsman. What is the model number on this thing? I think E37845 is the motor. 3,450 RPM, 12 amps. It's a lot of power. Yeah, it's a good machine. Alright, so I think that we will put it in with that bar facing the front. Is it going to clear? Oh yeah, it just barely fits. The cord on this looks a little dodgy right at the flex point where it comes out, so we might have to check the cord on this before we use it. Leave it a little bit back from the wall. Actually, we can push it all the way over to the left. Oh, or should we not do that? Because we can put all this stuff that goes with it to the left. There's quite a few things that go with it because it's a table. I have little legs and everything over here. Hopefully I can still get the manual for this because we don't know how it assembles. We know all the parts are here supposedly, but we don't have the assembly instructions. There's a washer up there. I'll put that in the jar here with the rest of the screws. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to put all this stuff on the side here. And that makes good sense. That's not good. I gotta pull this chest of drawers out soon to rebuild it. The frame is not strong enough for the way we're using it. Okay, that's all the parts to the table saw. So that's in there now. That's good. This can go somewhere else. I think I'm going to try to put that box back. Okay, so now what's left is this. Can this fit under here? It can. And this is in a plastic case, so I have no concerns about sitting on the floor. It's not going to rust or anything. I think that this should go into there, and I think that this should go into there as well. This is not something I'm going to use frequently, so I would it's kind of a waste to put it up front like that, but oh, the compressor fell over. Gosh, that vacuum sounds horrible. Well, we'll fix it when it breaks. I guess that works. That's far enough in. This one is a little bit dodgy. What else was that it? Oh, the power bars was there. Those can go somewhere else. That's just, I don't care about that. This was under there, that can go back. And this can go back. Maybe I'll put the jack stands under here. There's some casters under there which we're going to be using soon for another project. So if we put this here, I don't like that there. It sticks out too far. That is not going to work. Well, yeah, it's not the way it should be. So we got to find somewhere else for that. Why is this dang saw over here? That'll work like that. And then we still have a little bit of space. We could probably put the power bars back. Oh, we need to put two of them back because one of them can go upstairs. Okay, power bars are back. That one goes upstairs. So all that didn't fit under there was that light. the PVC stuff and this, which should just go in the attic. Oh, the screen repair, the window screen repair, that didn't fit back under there. That kind of stinks. Well, we don't need to store these under here because these should be stored on the ceiling where they serve their purpose. I think this is a Dremel tool. No, this is empty. So this we could just hang up for now. It doesn't weigh anything. Rats. This is wire and miscellaneous electrical stuff. That doesn't really work either. It's all a stinking puzzle in here. Here's some really old ceramic lighting stuff. Big pipe wrench and a big C-clamp. Should just hang those on the wall or something somewhere. Oh, jeez. I see a couple pieces of mouse droppings. I guess I'll vacuum out this shelf while we're in here. Should probably check to see if there's any in here as well. So there might be. I don't really see much. No, it looks clean in there. There's not many droppings, just a few here and there. Were the mice inside the pressure washer? Let's see how they could have been. Well, that's where the majority of the droppings is. That's kind of weird. That's not the weirdest thing we've seen around here. I think this is a sander. It's a handheld sander. I have a lot of tools that you might use, you know, once every couple of years and that's it, but it's worth having because when those jobs come up, you can't do them without the right tools. This is a landscape lighting transformer. This should not be under here. There's nothing to do with the garage. I should do a video on that pump. That's a neat pump. It's another vintage piece. Okay, we got just about everything in there except for the this. What was this piece? This was the belt sander. Oh, this also has to go back in here too. All right, that's pretty good. Come on, legs. We gotta work today. Oh no. There was also a toolbox that came out that didn't go back in. Alright, we'll have to find a different spot for that toolbox. That's fine. You know, I think for now I'm just going to put that toolbox right here. It's good enough for the moment. I can find somewhere better for it later. That works. What the heck is going on here? You know, there's always something breaking around here. Oh, I see what happened. The aglet broke. That's why it's not going through there anymore. Oh, come on. Seriously? There we go. Jeez. Oh. At least the aglet's not broken. Alright, so now the digital yard cart has been cleared off. How the heck did I get through here before? So pieces of that film thing that broke in here, or it wasn't film, it was medications. A medications container used for screws. Although the film containers did look the same. Now this is what normally goes in here, all these vacuums. And then this hose. Okay, so that's what usually sits in here when this is not being used. Come on. No, I didn't put this back in correctly because this is too tall. This all has to be inverted. This has to go over here. This goes there. That's how it goes. Where's that stupid block? Okay, that's where that lives. And then the leaf blower goes next to it. We're not going to be using this for at least a couple days, so close the handle up. In fact, we might not use this anymore for the rest of the year because the two major cleanups are done. That's just barely fitting. This digital cart should be moved over a little bit more. And now this block comes into play. Okay, and next the lawnmower goes in there. It's taking up more space than I thought it did. Does it go like that maybe on a diagonal? It doesn't solve anything. Well, I guess when it comes down to it, I'll just take the handle off completely for the winter time. But we're still going to be using that a lot. It's going to be used for multiple small leaf cleanups between now and then. Okay, so that's good. And then this can come back in. Although if the weather remains nice, we might use this later. We'll go down to the river walk for sunset. That goes like that. Yeah, I guess that was the way the lawnmower was. That's fine. Okay, so that's cleared out now. Now we're going to get out the garage heater so I can service that and put that in place for the year. I haven't needed it yet. It's currently 63 degrees in the room still, so it's getting there. We're going to need it soon. This is usually the last room to heat. I've spent a lot of effort over the last couple of years trying to make this room as airtight and insulated as possible because it's only electric heat in here. It's very expensive to operate. And between sealing up the air conditioners, blocking off the exhaust fan, putting the weather stripping around the man door, and having the whole room gap sealed for the bats, the room really holds heat pretty good now. This is a block room, and the vehicle door is insulated. We pay extra for an insulated door, which was well worth it. So it really holds the heat pretty good. It's kind of dark in this area of the building, so I will put on a drop light. Now, both Ed's and Kevin was over here a week or two ago, and I tried to convince them that we should take some of this stuff out of here to look at the equipment that's in the back. And that wasn't a scam because there is some neat equipment in the back, but obviously there is an ulterior motive to that. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and so now I have to do it by myself. But that's fine, it'll just take some time. So I gotta pull out those top two air conditioners on the left, and that should be enough to get to it. While I have that out, I'm going to swap in the actual unit into that Kenmore box, because right now I think there is a Westinghouse unit in there, which is ironic because ultimately that Kenmore unit is a descendant of what's in there. But I want to get that correct machine in there. So get some of the junk out of the way here. And then once we do that, if this doesn't take a long time, I really want to get the rest of this room cleaned up today so that we can start fixing the icicles. I suppose we should probably service the heater today because I'm likely going to want to use that in the next couple weeks. I'm spending a lot of time in here, and going to be opening the door. It's going to get cold. This is a pretty delicate operation. It's probably just as well that I'm doing it myself. Not that Ed and Kevin are sloppy, but there's a puzzle and a method to everything here that they wouldn't know. Only I know it. Okay, so we have a security light, which will keep us safe. And then we have some vintage faucets. Not really much into plumbing, but we got two new old stock vintage faucets. These would fit the bathroom sink. Maybe I'll use these in the bathroom someday. I just couldn't see these get thrown out. Two different styles. The other one has wood handles. This one's just plain. Really iconic 70s, 80s era stuff. Really nice. I'm not sure if it's good quality or not, but it's got to be better than whatever you can buy today. Not that that's a very high bar, but unfortunately a lot of these air conditioner projects I didn't get to this year because the summer was so short. So many of these that I had wanted to clean up this year are still in that state, which is disappointing, but it's one of those things you can only work with what it gives you. Alright, so there's the heater up there. So we'll get this one off of here. Putting it at the computer table will be easier to pick up when it's not on the floor. Okay, let me get the heater before I forget, because that is something I will do. I will come back here, do all this other stuff, put it all back and say, oh no, I forgot the heater. Here's the heater. I was hoping to put a heat pump in the garage this year. That probably would pay for itself in just a year or two. But no, there were some other issues that came up, and it was not in the budget. So we're going to use this one again. I was also going to buy a 30 amp heater just as a backup, you know, to be able to use upstairs if the stove ever broke, or to use in here if it got really cold, because that's only good down to about 20 degrees, and then it starts to only hold the temperature and not actually rise the temperature. But I didn't do that either for the same reasons I didn't buy a heat pump. Alright, so we have one extra space here that we could put an air conditioner, and I don't really want that to go to waste because there are a lot more air conditioners in here than I anticipated having. So if I could put one of them up there and get it out of the way, that would be great. So I think I am going to try to do that. This is going to be a little bit heavier than normal because it has a much older machine in it than what it's supposed to. Although these Kenmore branded WCIs from the early 2000s were no joke either, and they were pretty heavy as well. Okay, so this is 1, 2, yeah, it's only 3 tall because the bottom 2 are casements. You know, everybody used to hate casements. I said, why do we hate casements? And now I understand it, because they're impossible to service. Alright, I'm going to put that Dayton blades this is going to be difficult. I got to get that wobbly stool, because I'm going to have to go. I got to get it in the back. This is not going to be easy. I still got to change a burnt out light bulb down here. The wobbly stool's in the studio. I wonder if the yeah. Alright, I've got the wobbly stool. Now I'm right near where the icicle box is, which we'll be getting out maybe today if I can hurry the heck up, which is not something I usually do. Shut up, stupid door. Need to oil that door. Sick of that sound. Alright, I've got the wobbly stool. So let me get this moved out of here. See if I can give you a better view of what we're doing here. Yeah, that should be a little better. Alright, so we're going to take these Dayton blades, checking for mouse droppings up here. There's a couple, and we know the problem is solved, so I'm not worried about it, but in terms of cleaning, there are a couple on the shelf. I see 3 on the shelf. It's not really worth getting upset over. Not happy about it, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to just stick that up here so I can put a whole nother unit on top of this. I wonder what's lighter, this one or the, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to put that 5K Whirlpool on top of that Arctic Queen. That stupid little Arctic Queen has been a good machine. I picked that up off the curb in 2018, I think, or 2019, somewhere in there. I used it at work for a period of time, and then it kind of sat around in storage for a while, and then I used it at this place when actually before that my grandfather used it for a while, and then I used it when I first moved in, and it's been idle since then. But it's not a bad machine. Before I put all this stuff back, I want to show off the wiring up here, because I'm very proud of this wiring. I did a good job on this, and it was not easy. It came out really clean, and it works properly, and everything's been good with it. Great. So this is all the wiring for, this is for the generator, this is for the 30 amp in the garage, and this is for the 30 amp upstairs in the living room. So we got all that in there. This is all my networking and telephone. And that all comes over there. It's just really neat and clean, and really like the way this came out. Really good quality work. I spent a lot of time on this, and it came out good. It's been very reliable. Very happy with that. We do need to add a few more runs here. We're going to do that probably in February for the outside lights, so we can have a controller for the outside lights upstairs. It's going to go in the closet upstairs. This way I can control it much more conveniently from upstairs versus coming down into here. Although at least having it in here is a huge improvement compared to the way that it previously was. Okay, so here's a 16-inch fan blade. I still can't believe that all these fan blades were going to go in the trash. I just don't understand it. I mean, these blades, like, they're really good quality blades. You can make pretty cool custom fans with them. You're never going to find them again. You know, to find that many at once is unlikely to ever surface again. And nobody, I just don't get it. Nobody wanted them. No, I sure did. I gotta shift around a bunch of things over here to get to this Whirlpool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Whirlpool, second one up from the back. That's going to go over there, and then I can put the Quasar on the bench behind me in this stack here, and then the bench will be clean again. And then I can start cleaning up the floor, because we got to get all this cleaned up so that I have somewhere to work on the Christmas lights. When I went out today, I saw one house already has Christmas lights on it, so as far as I'm concerned, we are officially behind. I think I'm just going to put this stinking chair outside for now. Not going to be sitting around in here. I got work to do. I'll be working in here. Okay, this is going to be a little difficult because we're reaching far in. Oh, it ain't getting any lighter just staring at it. These side panels might cause a problem. They might not fit. It's going to be close. This is a lot of effort to find out it's not going to fit. Okay, this is not good. Almost had all these grills fall. I never want to let grills fall. They're harder to replace than the machine itself. It's typically the most delicate part of the unit is the grills. Alright, we got it up there. This is a close fit. It barely fits. Stupid side panels. I don't even need them. I should really just take them off. That's where I want it to be. Alright, I think we're good here. I gotta get off here, my knees are killing me. Okay, that was a little dodgy. Okay. Now I guess I'll put the box for the heater just right up on top of that. Okay. That was a little more difficult than I thought because it was just such a tight fit with the side panels. Seriously? What is that stuck on? This hobby got so out of control so quickly. But it's fun. It's a great hobby and I enjoy it. I've met a lot of great people because of this hobby. Alright, now we've got to swap out what's in that box. So what's supposed to be in that box is that machine. Of course, all the way at the bottom there. These carry cools are fantastic units, but they're a pain to store because you can't stack anything on top of it. At least not unless you have an equal 4 of them. You can stack like that if you have 2. Actually, you just need 2 of them. If you have 2 of the same height, I think they're all pretty much the same height, you can put plywood and stack on top of them that way. But as far as just one, no, it doesn't work. Okay, here's the machine that needs to go in the box. I think we got to take the side panels off. Maybe? I'm not sure. Whoops, that wasn't good. So this is a new old stock. Well, I've used it 2 years now, but it was a new old stock white Westinghouse. I actually have the box for this. I got it new in the box. But the box has something else in it, I think. I see it up there, but it's got to have something in it, otherwise I wouldn't have put it there. Here's the documentation for the Kenmore. So this one fit in here with the side panels, but I don't know if the other one will or not. This is probably a smaller chassis because it's lower efficiency. Okay, that didn't accomplish anything, it's still in the way. Here's the remote. It is in fact Digitan controls. Make sure there's no batteries in there. Alright. Maybe I'll measure this first to see if the side panels will fit. I have a feeling they probably don't. Okay, the box is 25. And this closes to 24. Okay, I guess that, yeah, I guess it will fit in the box with the side panels on. That's kind of convenient. No, something's wrong here. It's getting stuck. There it goes. I'm pretty sure that my grandfather removed the side panels every year, but inherently that wasn't necessary. I thought that this remote went in this bag. Maybe not. Yeah, it kind of goes in there. Okay. Just keep it from getting dusty. Alright, I'm going to put this in place first. And then I'll put the remote in afterwards so we know that it's sitting in the correct place. This might be a good time to put that quasar in place. I think that the quasar will go right here. Maybe I'll put the quasar now. Yeah, I'm going to put the quasar now. That makes sense. I haven't done a video of this quasar yet, but it's kind of past peak to do a video of it anyways. People aren't watching much besides ceiling fan videos right now. This quasar is an 8K. It's very, very heavy. Which is logical enough, you know, quasar was pretty solid equipment. Okay, this thing is no joke. Wow. Interestingly enough, it has a drain hole, and consequently it's still in pretty good condition with very, very minimal rust. How do you want this to sit? Like that's pretty good. It's nice and solid. Okay. Quasar is in place. I think we'll put that Westinghouse on top. I think the carrier's heavier. This Quasar is very deep, but very narrow. The carrier is shallow, but wide. Actually, the Westinghouse needs to go on the other side because the next thing that's got to go up on top is a carry cool, which, as we just discussed, is non-stackable. And quite frankly, I don't think these are particularly lightweight either. I actually think they're pretty heavy, especially if you're being mostly plastic. And they're worth their weight for sure, but don't say there's something that they're not. All right, that's that. Now we'll get this one. We'll put the Westinghouse first, and then we'll put a carry cool. And then all the air conditioners have a place. Still got to get the Kenmore in its place, but at least it has one. Okay, we need something better than this. A full board. This is such a nice machine. I didn't even pay much for it. I got it from someone that didn't know what it was. And that's not as wide as would be ideal, but we're going to go with it. Okay, this is too far back. Yeah, I'm going to turn this around because the compressor's on the other side and it's going to be a lot easier to move it around if I'm holding it correctly. Exactly what I didn't want to happen. All right, that's pretty good. And we'll just have to put this on top of it so that the carry cool will go over this. Actually, we need another board. We'll do that. Can't get that to balance. It's like a Lasco fan blade. It's just totally out of balance. I don't like mixing stacks of clean and dirty air conditioners. This one I've never even opened up before. Could have all sorts of mold in there. We're gonna put it right on top of something that's clean. I don't like that, but we don't really have a choice right now. Well, this is not sitting the way I had envisioned it, but it works. It's stable enough. All right, that's fine. we'll go with that. It's not my favorite setup, but it'll work. Okay. All right, now we'll put the Kenmore back in place. This is difficult to move because there's a lot of bulk. The box adds a couple extra inches that don't make anything any easier. Whoa, almost lost the camera. No, I didn't check to make sure this is set up properly on there. Yeah, I think it does though. Okay. Well, this is not straight. It doesn't really need to be, but I'd like it to be. Okay, that's in place well enough. So now we can put the remote in here. Because I can slip the remote on the side and know it's not going to get damaged because everything's in place where it should be. You know, if I just put the remote in there previously and then blasted something on top of it, the remote could sit in a place where it gets damaged. So now we can put the documents on the side. They're safe over there, and put the remote up here. It's safe there. Okay, we'll put it here. Okay, good. That's done. Heater back in place, or the heater box back in place. Not gonna put the heater back in place, that would be awful. All that work for nothing. Let's throw this box up here. And they can go up against the wall. It's an inside wall, it's not gonna pull any moisture. All right, now the Amana unit, which I bought when I first moved in, which has one of the dumbest boxes I've ever seen. That can go back. Actually, I'm going to turn this around because I feel like I'm not grabbing the compressor side. There we go, now I am. And this goes on top of here. like this. And I should probably put some more pieces of cardboard on top of here, because this kind of ends up sinking down to the top of the machine and it dents the top of the box. I don't like that, but I don't think I have any other pieces of cardboard in here at the moment. Do I? Not really. Well, the damage is already done. It's not going to get any worse. We'll just set it up better next year. Alright, now what else was up there? The faucets go back. The security light goes back. It'll keep us safe. Security light doesn't really fit there anymore. We're going to put that somewhere else. Or does it fit? Yeah, I guess it does. That would explain why it was there. Duh. This is such a nice faucet. Beautiful vintage pieces. Never got to use this unit this year. Ran out of heat. That was on my list of units to use, and I didn't get to it. Very disappointed about that. Alright, that's everything that came down. This one thing went back up, so that was good. Alright, that's it for this area. Got the garage heater. We got... Yeah, that was the only thing I really needed to do. I wanted to put that Kenmore back, get the garage heater, which Ed and Kevin didn't help me with, and check for mouse poop, which I did. There wasn't much. Yeah, I think we're good now. So we'll put... Yeah, we got these stacked up. That's all 4, 4, 4. Good grief, there's 12 air conditioners right there. And those are all ones that come in, well, with the exception of 2 of them. Those are all ones that come in after cooling season. See, this is a very, very delicate process. I wouldn't even want anybody else doing this. It's safe if you know how it works, but you got to know how it works. Well, this is not ideal here. Let's clearing it by about a couple mil. Wonder if we should do something different with this. It's not great like that. It's not great. Oh. These newer ones weigh a fraction of what the old ones do. Okay. All right, that operation is complete. That's huge because that's time consuming. That's not something I just want to do on the fly. That's quite the production. Okay, now the would have been potentially a good idea to put this this foam up there. I have something I can put. Just want like, I just use pieces of paper. I just want something to cover the top of those faucet boxes with. Okay, we're back now. I had to take a short break because the microphones ran out of charge. These microphones have been really quite good. I think these are a major improvement to the audio on this channel. However, one thing I will say about them, and perhaps this is kind of unique to my use case, it would have been nice if the receiver unit had twice the battery life of the transmitters. This way you could charge up one transmitter while using the other and get 10 hours instead of 5 out of it. And I feel like that should have been doable because the receiver unit is larger and it's not really limited by weight. Obviously you want the microphones to be as lightweight as possible, but since the receiver unit is not really a body-worn operation type piece of equipment, I don't see why it couldn't have had a larger battery. But it charges up pretty quick. It only takes, I think, like a half an hour or so to get a full charge. It really charges quite quickly. So we're just going to finish clearing off the table here so we can just turn this whole thing into a big Christmas light repair shop for the next couple weeks. Really want to get the icicles out from the other room tomorrow so we can start working on them and making any necessary repairs so that they are ready to go for the next time that we have a good weather day, whenever that might be. Got a bunch of papers here that we got to do something with. These are part of the Comfort Air the conditioner. I'm not sure if this can be put back on or if this is broken. I think it could probably get put back on if we were crafty enough with it. So I'm going to put these over here with the the conditioners. And hopefully I will still be able to remember where that is when the time to use that comes. Let's set up a box of things to go upstairs. This is part of the pizza delivery bag. All these chips can go upstairs. Put those in the kitchen. Don't need them in here. This is probably more useful to have in the studio because I don't do a lot of precision work in here that would really require that. This is an air conditioner compressor sleeve. The rest of this is miscellaneous air conditioner parts. These cabinets are just full of a mess. I gotta clean these out. That might be a post-Christmas project to clean out all these cabinets in here. This broke. I gotta try to fix that. That can go in the bathroom. I don't know if this has a battery in it or not. I bought a couple of these and I was able to make another good one out of the few I bought. And the ones that are no good, I just need to get rid of them. There's a schematic in here. This is for, I think this is for a Whirlpool. Just put that up there for now. These are some kind of dangerous irons, ceiling fan irons. I like to keep track of the plants I grow from year to year, so that's why I hold on to these labels. This is a part of a toner apparatus. I'm not sure if I have the other end. If I have the other end, it's not in the garage, at least not on the surface that I can see. I'm just going to put this in the miscellaneous tools drawer for now. I might have the transmitter for that somewhere. Have to look around. A computer, the mouse. should keep these rubber bands out because I use these all the time. It's a nice wire tie. So we can get this table cleared off. I got most of the floor cleared off. I'll be content with that progress for today. This we'll use for a video because I'm sure someone's going to want to see these on the stinking fan motor running all by themselves. I don't know what has spawned all these ridiculous ceiling fan related requests all of a sudden, but it's hard to argue with things that get views. What are these papers? Uniden. Put these papers somewhere else. This is for the Christmas lights. We're not going to need that this year, I don't think. This we can cancel out. $100. This was on that Whirlpool air conditioner. We'll probably keep that forever. Here's a Christmas light. I think that this goes to the icicles. Here's an arrow. I don't know what that's supposed to point to, but we'll put that in there. Here's a broken, that was a broken caster. And there's all sorts of things going underneath the microwave here. Pieces of the scrap wood. We got some nails. We'll keep these nails. They're good still, not bent or rusty. A remote, that's not helpful to us. A piece of foam. This is for electrical boxes outside. This looks like a Christmas light ornament hanger. I'll put that with the Christmas light there. This I think goes to that. Probably don't need those anymore. A fake piece of grass, a nut, here's a screw. I'll put this screw away with the nails. This goes to the cabinet legs. Here's a microphone. Is this vintage? Is it good quality? I don't know. Probably is good quality. You know, I wonder. Excuse me. I wonder if we could use this with the camera. The GoPro camera. This is an Asden microphone model ECZ990. Looks like it has different settings for to pick up direction and so forth. I mean, I can't imagine that this is better than what we're using now, but maybe will serve some kind of purpose. I'll play with that someday. And we got an SSD that should go inside. Some things to put screws in and so forth. This really needs to be cleaned up in here. This is pretty bad. We'll get there. Gotta do one thing at a time in here. Gotta get the Christmas lights taken care of, and then we can come back and deal with this freak show in here. Jeez, this ain't gonna fit anywhere. Yeah, it fits right there. I wonder if this was the... Was this the busted one? I don't know. No idea. Some melamine foam. A capacitor. This is a very good quality capacitor. And there goes something that was on the table. This we can cancel out. That upstairs. This is a busted computer. Cancel this out. Cancel this. Cancel that. Cancel the leaf. That's for the level. The information for the level, we'll cancel this. Here's a couple of rocks. Put those back under the deck. That's probably where they came from. Okay, what's next? This pot can go outside, but I don't want this to go outside because it might crack when it freezes, as if it's not already broken. There's a couple mouse droppings up here. Maybe this is a good time to do some vacuuming. Computer mouse. Looks like a fairly unused piece of melamine foam. Screwdriver. This is part of a pot that helps the plant stay up. I have a box. Gosh, it sounds like a farm in here. I have a box specifically for short pieces of wire, and I use it all the time. spruce. I need to find somewhere for this measuring tape. Found it. And that's not very secure. Well, maybe we can change that. Swap that with this hook. I never finished putting these little plastic hook things in place. I gotta finish that. These are very useful. They alleviate a lot of frustration. Alright, that's pretty good like that. Speaking of frustration, oh, that thing is busted. You gotta be flipping kidding. Well, I'm going to replace it with this one now because we don't really need this one that much. This just broke. Is everything going to break around here today? Alright, this lamp shakes one more time. Okay. Better if it's up one more. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay, great. We'll go with that. Cancel this out. And we'll cancel this out because it broke. Well, I guess that's not why we're going to cancel out. We're going to cancel out because we can't fix it. We never cancel things that are around here and they break. Most of the things that we get here are because they broke. This has to be clean fixed. It's holding the 64 degrees in here just from having the lights on and the body heat that gets produced. But it's only 47 now. I think at the end of during this week it's supposed to have a couple of days in the 20s. We've only had one day in the 20s so far. Once those days in the 20s come, we're going to need that heater. This is a pretty good vacuum. That used to support the cabinets. I don't know why it doesn't anymore. I'm not really sure if this is necessary to be here or not. That was here when I moved in. There is a story behind those sand jars. I'll tell that someday. Alright, I don't care if there's a little bit of junk in front of the microwave. I just don't want junk all over the entire table. I need to be able to spread out Christmas lights or put the stupid deer up here or whatever and work on them. Get off of there. Okay, the table has been cleared off, so now we can work on the table if we need to do some major repairs. Move this light out of the way, and I think I'm going to put that other box that's on the floor up here. I put this where it's not going to get busted up. Alright, we're in pretty good condition now in here. This isn't too bad. It's a lot better than it was. It was a stinking disaster before. Okay, so the bench is usable. I've got some space on the floor. I can put this chair outside and that would free up a little more space in here. But I have a path to walk now. Pretty good size space to work. So that's decent. I'm pretty content with that. Now we are going to move over here and we're going to work on a ceiling fan. Just need to adjust the tripod for a minute. Make it a little bit taller. So this ceiling fan I got out of the trash, and this is what those irons go to. And the irons were just, if you look at them the wrong way, they would break. And they were very, very unstable, built with some kind of really poor quality pot metal, I guess. What's up with this thing? This camera's getting a little flaky. Might be time to replace it. I've had this camera for a long time. I've recorded probably thousands of hours with this camera by now. And that's why I don't like to use, or I don't like to buy used cameras, because they wear out. It's not like a oil bath compressor where it's like you can run it for thousands of hours and notice no mechanical wear. The cameras seem to wear out. Anyways, I need to get a drop light because you can barely see what's going on over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to repurpose this ceiling fan. This install kind of failed. I tried to set this up so that it would clear in between the door and the ceiling, and it's just I could do it if I kept trying, but the blades broke and it just, I abandoned the project because I didn't have any more blades to use. So I figured what might be more beneficial is if we just set this up as a motor to do ridiculous video requests on. If I can get the stinking light to cooperate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this out, take it down, and then I'll mount it lower down so we can not have to worry about the blades hitting the ceiling, because the blades are just going to hit the ceiling if we try to use it as it is now. I don't even remember how this goes up because it's been so long since I put it here. See, like it kind of, like I got it. It works now. But if there's any slight vibration or wobble, it scrapes. So, yeah, it's just not acceptable. So this has, looks like it's just a typical, what the heck is this? Oh, that must be for holding the plug. It's a nut. This looks bigger than a quarter. Let's see what we got here. That's too big. I should have something in this broken kit that will work. It might be a stupid 7/32. I hate fractions. They're so stupid. Well, I guess I can't use this because it doesn't allow the angle. That's disappointing. We'll just have to use an adjustable wrench. There's a lot of flies in here. There's 2 flies in here right now. Or at least 2 that I can see. There might be more. Oh, I did have the doors open all day. This is not adjusted correctly. Still not adjusted correctly. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the neck. Yeah, this would have been worth the time to get the ratchet out. This is pretty annoying. I wonder if the other side is just as bad. They're nylock washers, I think, but they're really not washers nuts, but they're really worn out. They are kind of turning by hand okay. It's getting a little tight at the end here, though. Yeah, they were nylock at some point, but I think they're worn out. Probably at least 40 years old. This was a basic cane blade hugger. I think it was a G vent housing. The housing was all rusted and pitted like this. It was in bad shape. It was literally in the trash. Got it out of a garbage can. But it worked. It was good enough to use here in the garage, but unfortunately the irons broke. I don't even know where all the blade screws are for this at this point. I probably took them and used them for something else. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll take this mounting bracket down and we're going to move it. We're going to move it onto the bottom of the beam, and I'll just put it up and take it down as we use it. It won't clear the door when it's installed, but it doesn't need to be installed. It's just going to be for doing stupid things with. I'm going to get out the power screwdriver for this because there's a lot of screws there. Looks like there's at least 6. I don't know why I would have put so many. It's a bit excessive. And not short either. Oh, I see why I did that. I did that because there's a spacer here, and the screws aren't grabbing very far into the ceiling. Yeah, that was all that they grabbed, just a couple threads. But it worked, it never fell. However it was adequate. I might revisit this project at some point. It's kind of an interesting thing to have here. Okay, so for now, what we'll do is I'll just put this bracket back. And when we want to do a ridiculous video of a ceiling fan, we just hang it up. This bit's not the correct size. It almost stripped out the screw. It's very important to use the correct size bits. Okay, so that's done. Well, I think that might conclude the video for today, because there's not much else I want to do in here. This is in much better condition. I can proceed with working on the Christmas lights now. So I think we're going to call this clean. Well, clean enough for now. We still got to do more work in here, but it's better than it was. And we'll fix some Christmas lights in here maybe tomorrow. And then there's this, which is, yeah. Okay.